What's up, man?
What's up, man? Hey, haters. I'm good.
Yeah,
How you doing?
I, yeah. I was trying to find what YouTube channel is it on? What YouTube channel?
Okay. Oh, this is another channel, Critical African Thinkers. So,
Okay, cool. All right.
yeah. So, how you doing?
Oh man, I'm doing excellent. How's my African brother doing? No, Nigerian brother. Do you call yourself African or Nigerian?
First, I'm first Nigerian, then African. So,
Oh, okay. My Nigerian brother, how's it going?
not bad, not bad. I've been waiting on
Okay,
you. I think there was a bit of a mix-up in the communication about the time.
okay, that's fine.
So let's just jump right into it. You you said you said Glenn Loury is a tool for white supremacy. You said he's a coon.
Yeah. He is a coon. He loves it. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, I do disagree with you on that, but I'd like to hear why you think Glenn Loury is a coon. Why do you think he's a coon?
Oh, it's funny you said that because he even admitted on a show with John McWhorter. He said that it is very likely he's being used by white people to, speak his talking points. So he's well aware of that. And John McWhorter said he felt the same way too. He's like, yeah, because obviously people email them all the time and talk to them, and they've been told many times by blacks and whites, their fellow peers, like, hey man, you're being used for white supremacy. They said they thought about it and said, nah, I'm not. But they both admitted like, yeah, we can definitely see where that comes from. And they admitted surely some white supremacists are using our talking points. But they say they believe it regardless, but they admit it like, yeah, white supremacists do use us as black people for, like to back their points of view, but nonetheless they say they believe what they believe. So that's what it is.
Well, I think the point is valid, and I also think that their assessment of it is valid. It is very possible that some white people or some racist white people might say, "Hey, look at that black guy. He's agreeing with us. He's saying all these things." It is very possible. However, that doesn't invalidate some of the very good points that they're making. Don't you think so?
No, because when you look at Glenn Loury, his life, right? Everything he's gotten as far as academics is from affirmative action, which we blacks got affirmative action through Martin Luther King Jr., right? So that's how Glenn Loury became Glenn Loury and John McWhorter. Because check this out, they both admitted. I was trying to find it so I can record it and give it to you, but they both admitted, like, yeah, they got their mighty positions at Columbia University, John McWhorter, and Harvard and MIT for Glenn Loury. They both admitted, like, yeah, we got in here because of affirmative action. Like, no doubt. If we didn't have affirmative action, they both admitted we wouldn't be here. Like, so, for them to be spewing the stuff they spew, understanding it came through affirmative action, which we got as a people through Martin Luther King Jr., that's intellectually dishonest. They're being dishonest. And like Ibram X called John McWhorter a coon. Yeah, he's a coon. But go ahead.
Oh, so do you have any problem with affirmative action?
Yeah, I do. Because it should be for black people. It should be only for ADOS, but affirmative action could be for Asian people, poor whites, women, blacks, foreigners like yourself, Nigerian, Ghana, Jamaicans, Black Brits. So no, in its present state, come on, we fought for that as a people for ADOS, and the white man perverted it. That's how it's come down to. It's been perverted.
But Glenn Loury and John McWhorter are black people. So what's the issue with them getting the benefits of affirmative action?
No, and there's no benefit. I mean, there's no problem with those guys getting it.
So what's your issue with them saying they got to where they were by affirmative action? What's a particular issue with that statement or with that sentiment?
Yeah, okay. The issue is this: is that they tell black people like, oh, you need to work harder, and you need to do better, and yada yada yada, and while at the same time admitting, like, yeah, we did get here by affirmative actions, and every school there's only so many slots, right? So they admit, like, yeah, we got here from affirmative action, but you guys need to work harder. It's like, wait a minute, you just admitted you got up by hand up, like you did not earn that spot, you got it from a hand up. So how can you then turn around and say blacks need to work harder when you yourself just admitted that both of you got where you are from a handout? That's my problem.
Okay, so I get what you're saying. If they're saying that black people need to work hard to lift themselves off the positions they are currently in, and they themselves got to where they were not by working hard but by affirmative action, right? You see that as a problem. But my question now is affirmative action. Is it? It's open to most black people, I suppose, isn't it?
What's that? Affirmative action?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's open to no. It's just no. It's open to black women. I mean, black people, regardless
Mm-hmm.
of where you come from around the world, right? Even though no Nigerian or Jamaican or Black Brit was marching in 1965, to get to affirmative action. It goes to everybody. It's another white man trick to water down affirmative action. They understood what it was for. Like, hey, these blacks are being degraded through Jim Crow and slavery. We need to help them out, right? Because the white man stole everything. But what the white man did is, okay, we'll give it for blacks, but we'll make it for all blacks around the world, And then we're going to give it to women, white women for gender. Then we're going to give it to the LGBT
But but
and
but you
the disability. Oh, and Hispanics too, and Asians like from Vietnam and Cambodia. So it's all a scam.
but those other groups that you just mentioned, they are facing some challenges too. So why shouldn't affirmative action be allowed for those people?
Oh,
They're facing some challenges too, right? So why not? Why not for them?
no, it should not be for them because we, ADOS, FBA, we're the only people who have been enslaved in Jim Crow in America. There's no other group. Let me back it up. We're the only group. Hang on. We're the only group that was forced here on under gun and cannon. We were forced here. First, your people kidnapped us in Nigeria, Ghana, Cameroon. You guys kidnapped us, right? Sold us to the white man, where they forced us to America and to become slaves in Jim Crow. We're the only group. We're set aside. There is no group like this in America, period. So that's why it should be for only us, because we're the only group that went through what we went through in America.
So what about the Indians, the Native Americans? They
Yeah.
they had they had it bad. They had it real bad. So what about them?
Oh,
What's
easy. No. They have their own land. See, they have their own land. It's called tribal lands throughout America. So the white man made right with the Indians. Not completely right, but they tried. They gave them their own lands, and they're under their own laws. As long as their laws don't surpass the federal laws, Indians do what they want. That's why a lot of the casinos you see are owned by the native Indians, and they get all the profit. They own the casinos and get the profit, right? And it goes just to native Indian people, not black people, not white, but just to those tribes. So the Indians got their own little settlement. The only people who have not got a settlement in America is ADOS. The Japanese got it for the internment. Native Indians got it. We've got nothing.
So do you think it's sufficient getting their own lands? Do you think it's enough to atone for almost wiping out the Native Americans? I mean, they almost went extinct when the Europeans came. They almost went extinct. So do you think them having a reservation, because the whole continent is supposed to be for them, and right now the white man and other people are occupying the majority of the land. So if you want to talk about injustices, I think they have been more wronged, and I don't think that if I want to go with your logic, I don't think that they've been done enough for by giving them reservations.
No, the native Indians, they owe us ADOS reparations too. They own us as slaves too. At large, like 20 to 30% of their population were black slaves. So the native Indians owe us too reparations. Make no mistake about it. They owe us. Up to 30% of their population were black slaves. So they owe
they
us
owe you reparations too.
Absolutely. Look it
Wow.
up. They'll tell you the five civilized tribes of Native American Indians in America. 20 to 30% of their population were us black slaves, and we didn't get anything from them either after slavery ended. So they owe us too, as well as the white man.
So weren't there any black guys who owned slaves as well?
Oh yeah, there was a very small percentage, Very small, because you know what, you're always going to find some people who will be parasites who will go against their own people. So there's no doubt about it. But we got names of those people, and so what we can do is just track down their relatives, right, and make them pay. You know, the black slave owners, make them, you know, their descendants, make them pay along with the white man and Native Indians. So we got the names down on the slave sheets, so we can track down. It's very small, right? You're talking about maybe 10, 20,000 descendants, right? But so we can track them down and make them pay just like the white man and the Native Indian.
But it's 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 a matter of degrees. That's what you're saying right now. It's a matter of degrees, because if we're going to look at it holistically, for the fact that you're saying the Indians, they're owing you reparations, the Indians can say it's also a matter of degrees. Not all of us own slaves. The white man can say it's a matter of degrees. Not all of us own slaves. So in the case of the Africans who own slaves as well, I mean, they just said there are very few, so it can be excused in that regard. Why not say, let us look for the descendants of those white people who own slaves, the 25 or the 30% of people in the South who own slaves, and extract reparations from them instead of holding the whole of America or the whole of white America accountable.
Well, that's easy because all of America ran off slavery. Even though, okay, in the beginning, all 13 colonies had black slaves. That's the where America began. 13 colonies, they all had slaves. It wasn't no South thing. Matter of fact, the North did more of the slave transportation from Africa to America than the South. Rhode Island, those places were the biggest slave traders. The North, not the South. The South was just buying them as they came off the ship, but the ones who actually went to Africa and got us and brought us back to America, they're from Rhode Island, the North. So the North is just as guilty as the South. Like Abraham Lincoln said, he said slavery is an American thing. He didn't say it's Southern. He said it's an American thing. All America ran off slavery. So yeah, white
Slavery is a
people owe
human
us.
slavery is a human thing. I don't think it's an American thing. It wasn't unique to America. It was ubiquitous all around the world for centuries. Every culture had slaves. Every nation, every tribe, they all had slaves. In fact, some of the Africans who were sold to the white men were actually people who were captured and kept as slaves and were sold to the white man. So it's not a unique American thing. So should every people who have been enslaved in history, should they extract reparations for slavery? I mean, the Irish somewhat were subjugated by the British. Should they also ask for reparations?
Yeah, that's up to them. If you can prove like, hey, we are the descendants of the people that was enslaved by another group of people, why not? If you can prove it, but they can't. They can't. See, we're the only group that can literally say
Why can't
this group, huh?
why can't they prove it? Why can't they prove it?
They haven't. They haven't. Oh, hang on. Matter of fact, Jamaica, the Caribbean islands have been suing England and other nations like Haiti, France. So no, actually, I take that back. There's the Caribbean nations are already suing multiple European countries as we speak. So we're not the only ones who are doing it. Black Americans, ADOS. The Caribbean are doing it themselves, and they have been doing it for the last couple of decades. So no, I take that back. The Caribbeans, like Jamaica, Haiti, they're already suing white European countries for slavery. So we're not the only ones. So yeah.
I think I would support reparations for other nations, maybe the nations in the Caribbean who are asking for reparations from Europe. I would support that. But in the case of the US, I think the US is unique in the sense that, yes, despite all the things that has happened to African Americans in America, um, America has done certain things, like even the what you call it, what Glenn Loury benefited from. What did you call it again? Affirmative action. At least it was a step to redress some of those issues. And my feeling is that throwing money at it will not solve the problem. But we digress. I think we're going to reparations right now.
No,
We're
no, hang on,
supposed to
hang
be
on,
talking
hang
about
on, hang on.
we're supposed to be talking about Glenn Loury and
Yeah, but
why.
okay, hang on. But I just said earlier, affirmative actions for everyone. You just said, hey, a white America tried to pay you guys back through affirmative action. No, affirmative action is for all blacks. Doesn't matter if you never like if you came to my country, you would be up for affirmative action.
How are
Jamaicans,
they going? How are
huh?
they going to distinguish between myself and yourself? saying
Oh,
that
easy. That's easy. On your birth record, your birth certificate, are you a citizen, non-citizen? Your country of origin. Yeah. So and remember, it's just not for blacks worldwide. It's also for Latinos worldwide and women worldwide and people from the Middle East worldwide. So affirmative action is not a payback to black people. So you're absolutely wrong on that one. Affirmative action is for all people that are non-white and even for poor whites. So you're absolutely wrong on that one. You need to
so
learn
if
American history. You don't know American history, brother.
if affirmative action is going to be beneficial to people who are marginalized, why? What's your issue with it? Why would you have any issues with it? I mean, these other groups as well, they need the help.
No,
They need
like
the
I
help.
said, no. Like I
So
said,
so
they
okay
were not.
now.
Hang on. They were not enslaved nor Jim Crow. Therefore, they did not deserve it. That was supposed initially. It was supposed to be for affirmative action, right? Affirmative action for blacks only, right?
Mm,
That's the
mm,
initial thing. But the white man perverted it and say, you know what? We're not giving ADOS anything. We're gonna let everybody in on it, and therefore they perverted it.
okay, okay. So let's leave affirmative action and that discussion at that point. Let's get back to Glenn and the discussion on Glenn. So now I understand the position. I understand the sentiment that some white people can use John McWhorter and Glenn Loury, can use them as props, not directly, but by saying, "Hey, see what this black guy is saying." I understand that sentiment, but I also understand that within the confines of what they are saying, there are certain ideas that are laudable and that should not be discarded just because someone is going to use whatever they're saying. For example, if I'm saying something, if I'm saying if I'm like I'm in this channel or you're in this channel, you're saying something, and someone who is following you goes and does something bad and says he got his inspiration from you or from me, you're not going to be liable for it, right? You're not going to be liable for it. So I don't think we should just throw them out because some white people are going to use them as props. Now, if you want to talk about people who are being propped up by white people, I will even say it is the people like Ibram X. Kendi and the people like Ta-Nehisi Coates. They are the ones who are getting all the money from the support from the liberal white people, who, by the way, I think are the most racist of people, who want to assuage, they just want to assuage black people's feelings without actually trying to do anything for them. That is my feeling. I think that John and Glenn, they are doing something good for the African American community, and their ideas should be heard, and some of what they have said should be adopted rather than just throwing everything away and say, let's throw the baby with the bathwater.
Okay. And hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. So what's your point?
So my point is, Glenn Loury is not a coon. He's not a tool for white supremacy. He's not a sellout. I think he just happens to have opinions that are different from the mainstream thoughts, and I think some of those opinions are worth hearing. I think some of those opinions are worth adopting. That is what I think about Glenn Loury.
Yeah, I agree. I love open debate and diversity of thought. So yeah, I agree that his opinions and John McWhorter opinions should be heard. They just don't hold any water, and that's why people like Ibram X. Kendi called John McWhorter a coon. He's like, dude,
What what
these people
particular
are worthless. Huh?
what particular position of John and Glenn do you find detestable? What particular position?
Yeah, the part that their main thing is like, hey, black people, you don't need handouts from the white man. You can work hard and do it yourself. And it's like, wait a
Is
minute, you got
that
in your positions. No, hang on, you got in your positions by handout, and they both admitted it on radio. I mean, on YouTube. So that right there is disingenuous. And I've offered to debate John McWhorter and Glenn Loury on their comment section, but of course they never answered. But yeah, I would say that right off the bat, like, dude, you guys both admitted that you got affirmative action, you got a handout, And they both admitted it. Like John Warwick said, there's no way he would be at Columbia University without affirmative action. He even said that he wasn't even the most qualified. He said there was many other white professors that applied for the position were more qualified, and he understood it, and he still got the job. And he said it was so bad that even his students for the first couple of years looked at him and said, yeah, you're definitely affirmative action. Now he says that he can compete with anyone, but he said for the first few years he could not compete against the other white professors. So they got handouts, and they don't want other people, and they get handouts, and they blame black people. That's weird.
So are you trying to tell me that without affirmative action, that black people cannot attain certain positions without affirmative action? Just by merely trying and being the best at what they're doing? Are you trying to tell me they cannot attain that position?
Oh no, I don't know if you heard of Professor Gates, Professor Henry Louis Gates, right? He said that I got to find it, but he said if you take away affirmative action, he said basically there would be no blacks in the Ivy League, and that's including Nigerians and Jamaicans and Ghanaians. He goes, if you take away affirmative action, he goes, you would pretty much wipe out blacks from the top tier schools. They would have to go to the lower levels. And every study that I've seen said the same thing. Like, because I watched like Heather McDonald. Have you heard of Heather McDonald? She talks. She said the same thing. She goes, man, if you take away affirmative action, you would knock away blacks. There would be no blacks, not Nigerians, not Jamaicans, not biracials. It would be just white and Chinese. So
why? Okay. Now the Chinese are also a minority. So how come you can have the Chinese in those top tier universities alongside the whites, but you can't have the blacks without affirmative action? What is the reason? Why is affirmative action needed to even make it a possibility for blacks to be in that top tier in the first place?
Oh, that's easy, because the white man in America gobbled up, as I said before in our other debate, the white man gobbled up all the power, not all, but almost all the power, almost
Chinese,
all the resources. Hang on.
What about the Chinese?
No. You said the white man, so we're gonna focus on the white man.
I said you said something that it will just be the white man and the Chinese. So how come Haitians or the Chinese should be able to get into those top tier positions in the Ivy League schools and all that, but black people can't without affirmative action? How come?
Okay, did you say it was kind of hard to understand you? Are you focusing on the white man or Asians? Which one? White people or Asians?
I'm saying both, but I'm using the Asian as a case to tell you that, okay, but the Asians are minorities. The Asians don't have the power. The Asians don't have the so-called white privilege. So how come the Asians are able to get into those positions and black people are not able to get into those positions without affirmative action?
Oh, that's easy. When you look at China alone, you're talking about 1.5 billion Chinese people. If you throw
they're close to 1 billion African people in the world. So doesn't throw any weight behind Chinese success in America.
Okay, you're wrong. You're wrong again. You know how come you're wrong? Because Africa is a continent. Chinese is one nation. So you're comparing one nation to 57 countries. You're absolutely wrong, brother. You're wrong. You don't think about these things.
So flesh your point. You're going to say something before I intruded. So flesh your point. Go
on. About the white.
Yeah, you were saying there were about 1.4 billion Chinese people.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I hear an echo. Okay, there's 1.5 billion Asians, right? I mean Chinese, right? That's not including the Koreans and the Japanese and all the okay. You got to remember, Asians also means the Chinese and the Indians from India. So now we're talking about 3 billion people, 3 billion people versus 40 million blacks in America that are ADOS, right? There's like 50 million blacks in America. So right around 40 to 42, 44 million are ADOS, right? So 40 to 45 million versus 3 billion Chinese and people from India. Obviously, the top tier from 3 billion people is going to outnumber the top tier from us in America. So that's how come they don't need affirmative action, because there's over 3 billion just of Chinese and the Indians, and when you throw in the Koreans and the Japanese and a few other those Asian countries and Pakistanians, now we're talking about almost 4 billion people. Now you take the top students from that and put them in America, nobody's competing against them except the very elite of the white people, because they have, once again, the vast majority of the resources, the money, and the power to compete. So that's how come blacks can't compete in America and need affirmative action. And that's why you Nigerians can't compete, nor Africans, nor Jamaicans. If they just go off your own, merits, it's going to be mostly Chinese and the top elite white. That's it in elite colleges. Go ahead.
I hear you, brother, but there are no 4 billion Chinese people in the US. There are no 4 billion Asian people in the US. And there is no way that all the populations of the Asians you just mentioned, there is no way that number somehow has an effect in what's happening in the US, because what happens in the US is, let me finish. What happens in the US is it's a beneficial, it only factors in people who are within the confines of the US at that particular point in time. Now, from my understanding, you said the black population is
hang on, you're wrong. You're wrong on that. What you just said was absolutely wrong. But go ahead.
No problem. You're going to you have time for a rebuttal.
No, it's a fact. You're wrong.
Okay, no problem. Let me finish my thought. Now, in America, you have about 50 million black people. In America, you don't have that much Asian people in America. So I don't see how the population of Asians outside of America is a positive factor with how well they're doing or how well they can get into the top schools. I think there are other reasons for that, which we're not mentioning. So someone else is trying to join. Vincent, okay, let me let Vincent in. Okay. Yeah, Vincent, welcome. Before you say anything, let me just conclude. Yeah, let me just conclude with I'm good with ADOS. So ADOS, explain to me how I'm wrong in the sense that there are 4 billion Chinese or 4 billion Asian people, but they're not all living in the US. They don't all have a say in what happens in the US. They don't vote in the US. They're just a couple of millions of them in the US. So how come they are able to get into the schools and ADOS cannot get into the schools without affirmative action? So
okay, okay, this is where you're wrong. You don't understand America, and I understand. You live in Nigeria.
I want you to tell me so.
So I'm gonna explain to you. These elite schools get foreign Chinese people, right? Foreign, right? A lot of them aren't bred in America, right? A lot of them come straight from China, right? Or they just moved here from China just to get their kids in these elite schools. Same thing with India, people from India. A lot of these elite Indians come from India. They're either coming literally from India, flying here and living here, going to these elite colleges, or they're first generation where their parents moved here just to get their kids positioned in these elite schools. So you're absolutely wrong. Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Columbia, you name them. They get the top of the top from China and the best they got from America. But they go directly to China, like Beijing. No, hang on. I've met people. No, hang on. I've met people literally from Beijing. Like, I'm like, hey, where you from? I'm from Beijing. How long you been here? Oh, I just go to school here. I met people from Shanghai. I'm like, how long you live here? Like, hey, I just go to school here. I live in Shanghai. I've met people from Bombay, India, and all these places. Like, yeah, I go to school here and I fly back home. So you're wrong. These colleges get from the 3 billion, the top. So you're wrong. Go ahead.
I hear you. Okay, so let's let Vincent come in. Vincent, you can speak now. Just throw in.
Hang on. Is he Nigerian too?
Yeah, he's Nigerian. Alakija.
Okay, does he live in Nigeria? Do you live in Nigeria or Britain?
Charles, I've spoken to this guy, Black Skin's amazing. I'm just trying to just let you know, Charles, you are just wasting your time. I've been there with him.
Oh, this is Vincent Smith. Oh, I debated him.
I've seen his whole, his whole live stream that he's had, with various Nigerians. But I'm just trying to let you know, if you want to have a logical debate or conversation, I would recommend, someone like the likes of Mr. Research. He's more
Yeah, okay,
He
Vincent.
understands this discourse more.
But
No,
we're
hang,
having
no,
a very
hang on.
productive
Hang on, Vincent.
conversation.
Vincent, you've never disproven anything I've said. You're just upset because I defeated you. You're an easy target. You know, you live
You
in
never ever
America.
defeated me.
No,
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 no, no, not at all.
Vincent,
No,
you
you
live
did
in
not.
America. You live in America off our ADOS laws and what we
I
built.
don't.
You're
No, I don't. Actually. No, you're wrong.
okay. Are you the one that lives in Britain?
I don't live in Britain.
No. Okay, where do you live?
Don't worry about that.
No. See, I'm not going to talk to you. If you're going to be fake like that, leave me alone. And I'm talking to Charles. Just
I'm not
stay out
talking
of it.
to you. I was talking to Charles. You addressed
okay,
me.
good.
Do you understand,
Okay,
ADO?
good, because you're worthless to talk to. So, Charles, this is between me and you.
The feeling is mutual.
This idiot
Feeling-
Vincent is a
Who is-
failure, and he's
Hey,
too
no
afraid to say
insults,
where
no
he's from.
insults,
No,
no
you're a
insults.
coward, Vincent. You're a
No
coward. You don't
insults.
live in
ADOS,
Nigeria. You don't live in Nigeria. You live in another country. You fled.
ADOS, calm down.
You fled, Vincent. I
Oh,
remember
dear.
you. You fled. You're a coward.
ADOS, calm down,
No,
all right?
no.
All
Vincent,
the
you're a
shouting that you're
coward.
doing, it's
No.
not going to get you anywhere. Do you
No,
understand?
Vincent,
You
you're a
listen to
flop.
me.
No, you came on
ADOS,
here degrading me, and I'm
ADOS,
going to
calm
degrade you.
down.
No.
Calm
Vincent,
down,
you're
okay?
a coward. You're a coward. I'm having a nice conversation with Charles. You come in, oh, don't listen to this guy. No, see, you're the one who's disrespectful, and then you get mad when I come back disrespectful to you.
Actually,
You
matter of
came
fact,
on
you're the one who
disrespectful.
started all of this.
No.
because, you know,
You said
this whole
to
petty
Charles,
chat,
hey,
you like to
don't
make a
talk to
point,
him. He's
believing
this and
that
that.
you
No,
yourself are
Vincent,
superior
you're a
when, in
coward.
fact, that's just
You
a lie.
run and you live off other
Two,
people's
your
finances.
whole channel, it's really just for
Yeah.
drama. You're
You
there
haven't
just for
defeated a
money
single
and the
point.
views.
Charles,
We
you
all know
haven't
it.
defeated a single point. I
People have
defeated you,
defeated
Charles.
you.
Charles, I
I
mean,
don't even need to
Vincent.
say anything. You
Vincent,
have
I
already been
defeated you.
defeated,
You're
Black
a
Saint.
All right,
coward, Vincent.
guys. All right,
Vincent, you're a
guys.
coward. You want to come on starting trouble? You're a fucking coward, Vincent. You're a coward.
Talk
ADOS,
about feelings. Talk
Just
about
get
getting
off.
promoted.
Vincent, just get off. Me and Charles are having a good conversation.
Oh,
Vincent, just
dear.
get off. Go in the
Charles,
ADOS,
chat.
look, let me just say
ADOS.
something, Charles.
Listen,
Don't waste your time with
I
him,
want
all right?
Vincent, go in the chat,
Don't
Vincent.
waste your
Like
time,
a
Charles.
little kid. Go in the chat, Vincent, like a little kid.
Of
guys,
course.
we're brothers here. We're Africans. We're
No,
black people. We shouldn't be tearing
We're not-
ourselves apart.
Vincent is a coward. I already
We're not.
defeated him on my channel. He's a
In
coward.
what way?
He lives
Tell
in
me.
another country. He doesn't live in Nigeria. That's why he didn't want to say. I'm pretty sure he lives in America off ADOS. And if he lives in Britain, he still lives off other what people built. You know, I respect your Charles. At least you live in Nigeria. This guy does not live in Nigeria, and he's talking smack. Come on, man. Just go in the chat, Vincent.
Okay.
Oh, gosh.
I think you guys have gotten that out of your system now, so we can now come back and focus on the conversation. Vincent, we're having a conversation. I don't know if you know Glenn Loury. Is
No, I
an
haven't.
African American intellectual. Okay, so he has certain ideas about race, in America, policing, reparations, and all that, which is quite different from the mainstream narrative or ideas. So ADOS is telling me that the positions that Glenn Loury is taking is being used by white people. This is used as a tool of white supremacy. So I was just trying to get him to understand, because Glenn Loury is like a hero to me. I watch a lot of his videos, and I happen to agree with a lot of the things that he says. So I wanted to get his what makes he thinks that Glenn Loury is actually a coon or a tool for white supremacy. So if you can comment on that, no problem. If you can't, maybe you can just listen in, and whenever you have anything to say, you can jump right in. So
No problem, that's all right. No, I've never heard of Glenn Loury before. No, I'll have to watch some of his content, and
okay, you would love it. Love it.
but I'll mute myself now. Thanks.
Okay, so ADOS, let's get back to you. ADOS, are you good?
Yeah,
Hello?
go ahead. Yeah, no, go ahead.
So now you said the Chinese are sending in their best. Well, we're also sending our best from Nigeria. You know, we got great minds in Nigeria, and they're coming there and they're kicking ass. So I don't see any reason why, even if the Asians are sending in their best from Asia, I don't see any reason why black people from any part of the world will not be good enough to compete at that level without affirmative action.
Okay,
If at
Charles.
all, if you're telling me that let me finish. If you're telling me that black people cannot compete at that level without affirmative action, you are almost telling me that black people are inferior, which I don't believe. So make that make sense to me, that the Asians can come from China and kill it, that Africans can't come from Africa or from even the US itself and kill it just as much as the Asians. So make sense to me.
Okay, Charles, you don't understand America, and so that's why you speak with a lot of ignorance. I like you though, but you're just ignorant. Every black person that comes to America and gets an elite school gets in only one way: affirmative action. That's it. That's a
Why?
fact.
Why?
Or because once again they can't compete against the Asians.
Why can't they compete? Why can't they? What are the criteria for competing?
I
What are
just
the
said.
criteria for getting into these schools?
Huh? What's that?
What are the criteria for getting into these schools? Are
Oh,
there?
oh, hang on. Let me check this. Check this out. I'm going to show you how high elite the Chinese is compared to the Nigerians, right?
Okay,
Just say
okay.
Yale or Harvard, right? Any of those schools, right?
Mm.
The Asian has to score 400 points above a Nigerian or Jamaican just to be equal. That's how high the standard is for Asians to get into elite schools, and they still dominate. That a Chinese, and this is a fact. You can Google it when we're over. Look it up. That Nigerian, about your top Nigerian, an Asian has to score 400 points higher on the SAT test and the ACT test just to be equal to the Nigerian. So in other words, the white institutions are giving Nigerian 400 points when it comes to an Asian and 200 points when it comes to white Americans. So that's why Nigerians would never make it to the elite colleges, nor the top Nigerians or Ghanese, because they're already giving you a hand up by giving you extra 400 points against Asians and 200 points against average elite white American. So that right there shows you that the Nigerians can't cut it either. Not just ADOS can't cut it. You Nigerians can't cut it either.
Okay, so there's something we have in common. We're all black people, Nigerians, ADOS, or black people. So what are you trying to tell me that without that crutch, without giving Africans 400 points ab initio, that they cannot get into these schools? Are we that dumb?
Yeah, no. Yeah, like I said, we're talking about Glenn Loury and John McWhorter. They both said, as they, and you can email them, say, hey, please tell me this guy Blackskin said that you guys admitted you got in on affirmative action. They did. This is how. No, I'm saying, but the very conversation we're having about are two guys who got an affirmative action. Go ahead.
Yes, it is possible. It is possible that people will get into those institutions by affirmative action. But I was just taking a point from your.
Hey, you froze.
Only the Asians and the.
Hang on, you froze.
You said without.
Okay. No, hang on, you froze. Can you say it over again? Because you froze.
Right. You said without affirmative action, it's just the Asians and the whites that can get into the schools. And from what I understood by what you're saying is that the Asians, they're so good that even with a 400 point disadvantage against them by a black person, they still get into the school. So
yes.
why can't ADOS, why can't Nigerians, why can't Ghanaians, why can't black people, why can't they score just as high to get into the schools? What is the problem? I mean, if it's the scores, then the scores has something to do with us. Then if we cannot compete naturally and we have to have a crutch to get into that, then isn't there a problem? Yes. So what is the cause? Why can't we get those scores that will make us compete at that level?
Well, hang on. John McWhorter, he has a lot of. Have you heard of Heather McDonald? He does a lot of shows with this white woman called Heather McDonald. You heard her, right? And she said the same thing. She said that black people just can't cut it. Whether you're Nigerian, Jamaican, ADOS. No, hang on. Even she said that black people, regardless of where they come from, can't cut it. And she goes, even with affirmative action, the blacks always end up at the bottom, or they drop out and take an easier course. So even John McWhorter and Glenn Loury are aware, like they both said, like, yeah, if you take away affirmative action from the elite schools, black people would disappear. That's Nigerians, ADOS, Jamaicans, you name it. We just can't compete.
So are you saying that we actually can't compete? Is that what you're saying?
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. And Hispanics either. We just can't compete with the top Asians and the whites. We can't compete, brother. Not in academics. Not like that.
Why can't we compete? We don't have the natural capacity to
Okay. all I'm
Or what?
hey, I'm not saying why we can't compete. I'm just saying these elite schools say that if you the reason why they use race as a factor, because if they
Mm,
didn't use race, there would be
mm.
no blacks in the elite schools. They would have to go to the medium to the lower schools. This is what they say. If you go to Harvard, I don't know, you should follow that Asian
Harvard.
lawsuit
I have
against
a cousin
Harvard,
in
right?
Harvard. I have a cousin in Harvard.
Yeah, and they would tell you, the presidents would tell you, like, hey, if we don't use race, we won't have black people. There won't be any Nigerians or Jamaicans or ADOS in here. They'll just be wiped out, and this is going to be all white and Asians. And so they use race as a factor because they want diversity. They said if you take away race, then we won't have diversity. This is going to be all white and Asian school. And all the elite schools say that. Now you're saying, well, how come we can't compete? I'm not going to give you the answer. I'm just saying that we can't as far as the test score. On merit, we can't. And that's why
You know,
John McWhorter and Glenn Loury both got in from a hand up, and they both admitted it. Go ahead.
That's a
but,
terrifying position. Vincent, go on.
no. I had just one question for Black Skin, right? So you're really confirming that black people are intellectually inferior compared to our whites and Asian counterparts. Is that what you're trying to establish?
I'm not saying anything about superior or inferior. I'm just saying what the studies and the people, the presidents and the provosts of these elite colleges say. And if you follow the Harvard Asian lawsuit, the elite schools, Harvard was saying, no, we have to use race because we want diversity. And they're using race, and they won the lawsuit in the Supreme Court because the Supreme Court said, yeah, okay, it's okay to use race, because even the Supreme Court said, yeah, if you use race for diversity, that's fine, but you can't use race as the sole ingredient. And so, like I said, race is used because blacks can't compete. Nigerians, Ghanas, ADOS, we can't compete against the top Asians and whites. Everyone knows this in academia. Heather McDonald, listen to her. She'll say, like, yeah, blacks can't compete. They can't.
Vincent.
I completely disagree with that because I know of quite a number of Nigerian, and even some, I guess, as you call it, ADOS academic, people that are in these top schools, and they did just as well, if not even better.
No,
They worked very hard for that position. So
no, no. They got in through affirmative action. That's a fact. This is not theory. John McWhorter and Glenn Loury tell you this is we get in through affirmative action. Like, that's a fact.
Ados, okay. If I am to accept this position, it is a very, very terrifying position that will keep me up every night. That we as black people cannot.
Hey, you froze, brother. You're still frozen.
So
Hey, Charles, you're frozen.
yeah.
Okay, say that over again because you're frozen. Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Say I have a problem with affirmative action. I have a serious problem with affirmative action just because of this same reason that you've just said. That it's now like a crutch that black people cannot compete.
You're frozen.
Sorry. So a lot of
I heard you to the point you said black people cannot compete, and then you froze. Go ahead.
Okay, so it will keep me late up at night to think that black people cannot compete without a crutch. It's a terrible thing to even conceptualize in my mind. You understand? So I think that the problem might be why black people are not doing so well is maybe a foundational issues, maybe the kind of schools they went to while they were growing up, the kind of education they got, the strength of the education they got while they were growing up. So I think that is where the problem, that's where the issues should be tackled. How at that foundational level, what kind of education are they getting? Are they getting the best of the best? If they are getting the best of the best, then they are going to be able to compete with the white people. Now, let me cite an example that Thomas Sowell cited about IQ. He said that there was a research that was done that there's a disparity in IQ between white people and black people in America. But when the IQ test was done on the children of black American soldiers and white American soldiers stationed in Germany, they found out that the IQs were similar, almost equal. They were similar. And one of the reasons he gave for that kind of observation was that in Germany, there was no black American subculture or the kind of things that the blacks were going through in America to influence why their IQ would be that level. So I'm thinking, my thought is that if black people and white people are given the same foundational elements, that they will be just as good. So the problem, the issue should not be tackled at the level of Harvard. It should be tackled at the primary school level, at the secondary school level. These people need to be given the same kind of education. And if that is done, I tell you, we would not need affirmative action. I feel insulted by affirmative action. I feel insulted that I will get into a school just because I'm black and I have to score less.
Yeah,
to get
400 less for
same,
a Chinese and 200 less for whites.
get into the same school that an Asian will get into. How
Yep.
would I be able to look them in the face? You understand?
Hey, everybody knows this, Charles. Like if you came to America,
I understand. I understand this thing you're saying. I know it is a fact. I know it is a fact. But the reasons they are given, nobody has given us, nobody has told us why it is so. Because if nobody is telling you, you know what they are see what they are all assuming. Black people are intellectually inferior. That is the assumption. That's the basic assumption. And we have to be able to. Are you saying we're intellectually inferior?
No, Professor Henry Louis Gates, he's a professor at Harvard, right? And he says that he gets black kids from Nigeria, Jamaica, and ADOS come to his office and say, "Hey, I'm at my dorm," and these white kids say that the only reason I got in is because of affirmative action. How do I deal with that? And he said, well, you did get it because of affirmative action. Like that's just what it is. But yeah, the black kids get picked on by the Asians and white kids in these elite schools. And they tell them, hey, you Nigerian, you ADOS, you Jamaican, you Black Brit, you're only here because of affirmative action. Without affirmative action, you wouldn't be here. You got lucky. And so the black kids went to this black professor, Henry Louis Gates, and he said, well, that's true. You just shouldn't feel bad about it, but that's just what it is. They have to score Asians 400 points higher and whites 200 points higher. You got affirmative action. Like he said, there's really nothing you can say about it, but yeah, just accept it and just do well. And that's what he said. You just have to do well and say, look, I got affirmative action, but I'm doing really well. But you can't deny the fact you got an affirmative action. Everybody knows this in America. When you go to Harvard or Yale or Princeton, everybody on campus knows when they see a black person, I don't care if he's from Nigeria, Ghana, ADOS, Jamaica, everyone knows he got in from affirmative action. Everybody, the professors, the teachers, the students, everybody knows.
Don't you think that's insulting? Don't you think that's insulting?
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, everyone knows, and every black person knows that. Every black person that when they go to at least college and they learn really quick. Oh, I got in from affirmative action? I thought I got in from my own merit. I'm like, no. The affirmative action office got you in, and so they have to deal with it. And
you don't have an issue with that.
I don't have an issue with that because all these elite universities like Princeton, Yale, Harvard, they were all built off ADOS. All of them. They were built by and off ADOS. So these elite colleges, So I don't have a problem with that.
I'm not saying whether you have an issue with whether black people, by whatever means they get in there. Don't you have an issue with the idea that getting into those places in the first place was because you were carried on a crutch? Don't you have an issue with that idea?
No, because ADOS. No, because America was built off ADOS. So I don't have a problem. Now I can see you having a problem because your people did not build America, nor these elite colleges. So to you, it'd be hand up. To me, I see it different. To me, it's like, yeah, you should do this. This is the very least you should do. We built America, and every single elite college in America, like Harvard, Yale, Princeton, MIT, Stanford, they're all built off slavery. So I look at it as that's the least you should do for ADOS. But I can understand why you would feel, disrespected because you didn't build America nor these elite colleges. America was built off us. So we see it different because we come from two different points. America was built off ADOS and the top universities built off ADOS. You had no part of that. So I can understand why you would feel disrespected. But to me, I love it. But go ahead.
Vincent, go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, don't worry, Charles. I was actually going to say something, but no, not at all, because he's really just kind of proved my point, but about something. But no, carry on.
Okay. ADOS. You said America was built by blacks, by slavery and all that. Well, we touched that at a certain point earlier in our discussion on your channel, and I told you that yes, partly, but it wasn't just slavery. There were other components to the building of America. If it was just slavery alone, America would not be this great. Now, if, for example, you have a company, multinational company, and the forced labor was used in building that company, and then years later on, maybe in 50 years, you have descendants of the forced laborers coming to work in the company. They don't have the requisite skills, they don't have the education, they cannot match up in certain areas. You think that the descendants of those forced laborers, do you think that they should be in top management positions? Maybe say the MD or the CEO of the company, just because their ancestors were forced into building that institution. Do you think that they should be at the helms of affairs of that organization?
To be the head?
Yeah.
No, no. What we should be getting is from those companies is reparations. I don't care about being the head of the company. They can have the company, right? We just want our massive, like Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. said that white America owes us massive, massive reparations. That's all I want. They can keep their corporations and their high positions. We just want what Martin Luther King Jr. said we deserve as a people. ADOS, massive, massive wealth.
I don't think that's not what Martin Luther King fought for. He fought for the right for Black people to have equal opportunities.
Oh no.
Not for reparations. He wanted.
Charles.
I have a dream. Listen to the "I have a dream" speech. What did he say?
Charles. See, this is what I mean. You don't know American history. You know pieces. If you look at Martin Luther King Jr., you can Google it. 1967 and 1970, 1967 and 1968. He literally said that Black people are owed massive, massive reparations, and that he was going to Washington D.C. to get our money. And then he specifically called white people hypocrites. And this is what he said. I'm going to go almost verbatim Martin Luther King Jr. You can Google it. He said in 1862, right? He went back 100 years. He said the white man gave poor whites the West of America, right? They killed the Indians and gave the land to the white people. Poor peasants, he called them. And he goes, then the white man, the government, built colleges to teach them how to mechanize the land. And then he says, then the white government sent white men around to talk to them in their homes to help them build the land up. And he goes, then the government gave them interest-free loans to buy equipment to mechanize the land. And he goes, now 100 years later, the government is giving these same group of white people millions of dollars of money not to farm. And he goes, these are the same white people who are telling us ADOS to pull us to make it on our own, when they the entire time had the white government build them up. So that's Martin Luther King Jr. See, that's the Martin Luther King Jr. you don't know, because white people don't love to talk about that, because he called white people hypocrites for that. Go ahead.
Right.
Vincent, you want to say something?
No. I was going to say real quick. No. And if that's what you're saying is really true, because I wasn't even aware of that. Black skin, right? What I want to know is that, okay, let's assume that your people did get reparations. What do you think it would be used for? And can you be honest about that?
Oh, I talked to Charles. Me and Charles was on my show last week on my channel, and I told him reparations. It's not a one-time thing. We need reparations for the next 100 years, because we were enslaved in Jim Crow for 350 years. So we need at least a century of massive reparations, like at least $1 to $2 trillion directly to ADOS every year for the next 100 years. Also, affirmative action just for ADOS when it comes to school, jobs, employment, and everything else. So we need massive reparations for the next 100 years, not one-time check. I would reject that. They said to me, hey, we'll give you $50,000 and call it even. Hell no. No. What you did to us for 350 years, $50,000, go fuck yourself, white man. No, it has to be for generations.
But that's never going to happen.
Right. 1 to 3 trillion. That's just where I'm just. I mean, hey, that's for you guys to figure out, I guess. But it's just that figure, that amount. I'm not sure. How much is the reparations that they give to the Jewish community, ADOS?
The Jewish community.
Yeah, how much is it per year? I think I saw a bit of the discussion that you had with Charles on your channel.
No, yeah. That was not reparations. We give the Jews every month $110 million. We give it to them. We just give it to them. There is no reparations, because the Holocaust was in Germany. We just give it to them. Just give it to them.
That money wasn't because of what happened to the Jews. American gives to Egypt, they give to Nigeria, they give to a whole lot of countries, they give to their allies. So
Yeah,
it's not
I
it's not
agree.
payment for reparation. But then
I
I asked
agree.
you a question the other time. I was like, would you rather be in America or would you rather be in a country where you get $10 billion of aid from America? Which would you rather be in?
No, I'm. You know what? Martin Luther King Jr. said it. We black ADOS, we are the truest of Americans. Like, if you're gonna say what an American is, it's gonna be us ADOS, not the white man. Us ADOS. Like, we created all the music, the American cooking, the culture. We built it. We created it, right? And whatever the white man did was on our back. So we are the true Americans, ADOS. So I'm gonna choose America because this is our home. Even during slavery, they were like, "Hey, you want to go back to Africa?" And ADOS says, "Hell no, I'm American. I'm more American than the white man. I'm not going back to Africa. This is our country. We built it. This was
Why?
built off our blood, sweat, and tears."
Come back to Africa. It's a cool place. There's a lot of sun here.
No, Charles,
Cool.
no, Charles, please do not force people that don't want to. I've actually been on another panel. No, don't. They love America. Like that's their right, and I agree. You know, it's their, on that cause, that's where I agree with ADOS. Let them stay in America and let them sort out their issues. The ones that maybe want to reconnect with their African roots, that's fine. But the ones like him that are, American, no, let them. That's don't like give out this olive branch to them.
Okay, now ADOS, the African American community, they are facing many challenges today. Do you think that if this reparation does not come, that those things can never change? Those things can be better. I mean, say with the wealth gap, with some other things, without the reparations, do you think those things can never change? And
The
if
what?
reparations never happen,
Okay,
if reparations
yeah,
never happen,
if you're talking about the wealth gap, no, we would never ever recover from what the white man did to us for
that's
350 years
pessimistic.
without reparations. As far as the wealth gap, if you're talking about the wealth gap between blacks and whites and ADOS, no, without reparations, we'll never catch up. Never.
That's no. I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you.
See, okay, Charles, you know why you don't agree with me? Because you don't know American history. Now, let me put it in a nutshell to show you what you don't know what you're talking about. The white man did not get to his prestigious position in America on his own work. You know how the white man became so rich and powerful in America? Through the government. It was the government who literally picked up white people on the backs of blacks, ADOS, for 350 years. The government. Every historian would tell you, like, it's true.
You believe
Slavery and Jim Crow. 350 years of robbery and pillage of black and Indians, the white man did. 350 years. That's how the white man is so powerful in America and so much money and have all these resources. It's not because they're smart. No, it's because they went and got us from Africa and enslaved us for 250 years and Jim Crowed us and then stole the land from the native Indians. That's how the white man became so great, not because of his own smart and intellect. No, he did it off robbery.
Okay, now, in economics, we were taught that there are four factors of production. I think there's land, there's capital, there's entrepreneurship, and there's labor. Now, I want to say that the African American slaves that were brought into America were the labor, but they were not the entrepreneurship, they were not the land, and they were not the capital. So, how are you going to tell me that based off labor alone, America was built? If you have a system where you are using people to work, if there are no entrepreneurial minds behind it, if there are no people who can effectively manage the land or the resources, you're not going to get anywhere with it. So are you going to tell me that it was just brute labor that built America? When I look at America, I see a lot of ingenuity, I see a lot of creativity, and that has very little to do with the suppression or the oppression of people. Yes, it did happen, but in America today, look at the giant tech companies. How is Facebook an offshoot of slavery? How is Google an offshoot of slavery?
Oh, that's easy. Because the foundation, foundation was built off ADOS, and everything else comes upon that.
You keep saying that, but
that's
doesn't.
A fact. It's President. Okay, hang on. President Trump said from the White House 2020. As a matter of fact, I just put it up. When you get done, go to my YouTube channel. I just put it up. President Trump said it. He said ADOS built America. ADOS built. This is the president of America said it as the president. So go to my channel after this, or you can do it now. Go to my channel and play it. ADOS built America.
Trump is not the authority. Trump is not the authority on anything. Vincent, go on.
No, I just wanted to ask AD. So, okay, right. Assuming what you're saying, okay, and I do agree hearing that ADOS did build, but who are the ones sustaining and maintaining America today?
Oh, easy. That's the white man. I told Charles, the white man after 350 years, he has almost all the power, almost all the money and resources. So it's upheld by him now. And he robbed everybody for 350 years. I'm just saying that. I'm not saying the white man is not holding it up now, because he is. I'm just saying that how he got to that position in America was through robbery, through pillaging ADOS for 350 years after stealing the native Indians' land. That's all I'm saying. The white man is definitely holding it up now, but it's not like he just came in. See, people think the white man just came from Europe and just built America on their own ingenuity and work ethics. No.
So without the blacks, you feel that America would not have been as great as it is, or would not have been good at all, would not have been rich, would not have been powerful. Is that what you're saying? Without
without ADOS, there would be no America, because everything in America is founded off ADOS. Everything. Okay, give me one thing. Okay, Charles or Vincent, give me one thing in America that's not founded on ADOS. Give me one thing.
Industry, the Industrial Revolution.
Okay, stop. No, hang on. Stop. The industrial.
Going to the moon.
Charles. Charles, stop. Let's go one at a time. No, you said the Industrial Revolution. Okay, so you don't understand American history, because any historian would tell you the American Industrial Revolution ran off slave cotton, and without slave cotton, they would have never been an Industrial Revolution in America. So you're wrong.
I'm talking about the invention of machines who did work much more efficiently than people. And if America had continued being a slave nation, they would not have been where they are today, because machines made things better, as we can see today. Machines actually, if you brought any two societies right now, and you bring a society that is still so dependent on human labor like we have in Africa, and you bring another society that's reliant on machines, on mechanized ways of doing things, who do you think is going to succeed? The one that's using people, or the one that's using machines? And America points where they start using machines, and it paid off for them.
So Charles, hang on. How did the white man get the money to build the machinery in the North for the
That is because
I asked you a question. How did they get the money?
How did they get the money?
How did they get the money?
Through trade, through industry.
Trade. Okay, trade in what? Trade in what? Trade in what?
See, life is multifactorial. There is never anything in life that is caused by a single event.
Okay, give me some. Okay, give me a few. Okay, give me a few. How did they get the money? Yeah. How they get? How did they get the money?
You're assuming wealth can only be created via exploitation, which is not true.
You're not answering Charles. You're not answering the question.
I'm going to answer your question.
You said that. I asked you, how did they get the money to build the machinery up in the North? How?
Through trade, through commerce.
Okay, trade of what? Trade of what? Okay, I'm gonna give you an answer. I'm gonna give you an answer. I'm gonna give you an answer. They got the money off a trade of slavery. Remember, I told you the North were the biggest slave traders, that they went to Africa. That's where they got almost all their money from, was from slave trading. Also, they sold goods up north to the Caribbean to feed their slaves. Also, the North made a pile of money off of cotton, rice, indigo, tobacco, all slave grown. So when you even talk about trade, right, it still comes back to ADOS. All of it. All of it. See, this is why you don't understand American history. So, because when you talk about the American Revolution, any American historian would say, yeah, all the cotton came from slaves. They'll tell you, yeah, all the cotton.
So basically, America was just trading cotton in all of its 200 years or so. It was just trading cotton and nothing else.
I just named rice, cotton, indigo, tobacco. corn, all slave grown.
All those in the north, everybody was just waiting for the south to you know farm, bring their produce up north and sell. Is that it? And if I think I can remember something, I don't know, I may be wrong, and I think I discovered that even the north was much more prosperous then than the south. The north that wasn't slaveholding was more prosperous economically than the south that was slaveholding. So how do you account for that?
Okay, Charles, you're wrong again. See, this is like the number 10 times I've said you don't know American history. You just said that
You
the
can keep
North.
you keep
No,
you
no,
can keep saying that.
hang on.
It doesn't mean
No,
anything. You can
Charles,
say I
Charles,
don't know American
I
history. You can
prove
say
it. I've proven it to you.
doesn't
I'm gonna
it
prove it to you
doesn't
again,
mean
Charles.
anything.
Charles,
It
Charles.
doesn't mean anything.
No, I proved it to you. Yes, it does. I'm speaking the truth. It means the truth means something. I'm going to prove it to you again. You said the North was more prosperous than the South. That's not true. You know what? Adolf slaves, right? In 1860, I'm going to prove something to you. Adolf slaves, just we as a slaves people, were worth more than all the banks, railroads, and business companies in America combined. So if you in 1860, if you took all the banks in America, all the manufacturing business companies, all the railroads, right, all the buildings, right, in the North, black slaves was worth more than all of that combined. So when you
When
say
you
the
say black
North,
slaves,
no, hey, no, hang on. So when you say
mean
the
by
North
that?
was worth more than the South, that's simply a lie.
What do you mean by black slaves were worth? What exactly is the worth of a person? How do you
Okay.
quantify? How do you put the worth of a person in terms of money?
I was just
Easy.
going to ask that same question,
Okay.
but yeah, go on.
In 1860, black slaves, there were 4 million black slaves in the South. They were literally worth $4 billion, right? Today's money, that would be about $25 trillion.
That's an
That's the worth
anomaly.
of black slaves. That
That's
in
an anomaly.
18, I'm going to say it again. I'm going to hang on. Let me just say it again so you understand it. Um, 4 million black slaves in 1860 were worth $4 billion. In today's money, if you took that percentage out and put that percentage in today's money, black ADOS, we would be worth $25 trillion as slaves. $25 trillion.
So
That's a fact.
would you rather still be slaves and be worth that amount of money today, or get your freedom and then just go all out and
Come on.
work
Come
and
on, Charles. Who would want to be slaves? Come on, man. Now you're being funny.
exactly.
You're being disingenuous, brother. Come on, man.
Ados, the sense I'm getting is that you feel that wealth can only be created by one means, which is not true. Take for examples the Asian giants we're seeing today. Take countries like say Malaysia, take countries like say Indonesia, South Korea, and all that. These countries never had slaves. They're doing very well today. They've created wealth. They've generated wealth. China has lifted more people out of poverty than any other nation in the last decade. And these things were not built off of what slavery. They were not built off of slave labor. So the world has demonstrated that wealth can be created by different means, there are many means that wealth can be created. So if you're telling me that African Americans cannot rise above their current economic situation without the intervention of the government, I think that is wrong. I think that is false, because reparations might never happen, and I see that my sense is that it won't happen. So if it won't happen, and you're giving this kind of message to black people that if reparations doesn't happen, you can never rise above the station, it does something to the black psyche. It depresses them. It makes them feel worthless. And then so many social ills result as a result of that, because they feel that they cannot rise above it. But when you empower people, like Glenn is saying, when you empower people with words of affirmation and do the things at the fundamental level to help them when they're growing up, at the primary level, let them get good education, let them get good exposure, then they can flourish at any point in time. They can flourish. That is my position. That is what I think, and that is what I believe. Reparations may never happen.
Yeah, okay,
but
Charles,
if it doesn't happen, I believe that we as black people and African Americans, we can become the best. We can outshine the whites in so many things. In the future, we're ready to do that.
Yeah,
and
but
we don't need the government. We don't, in this day and age, we don't actually need the government.
But you said China and Singapore. That's not
Yeah.
America. America was built off slavery. That's a fact. The President Trump said it. The senators, everybody knows this who studies history will tell you.
Black
America
skin,
was
Okay.
built off slavery.
black,
So
black skin.
so when you bring up China and Singapore, that's not America. America was built off ADOS. That's a
But
fact.
black skin. No, black skin. I was just saying for Charles, he was talking from an economical point of view, how to bring themselves up from that. That's what he meant. If you
Yeah,
didn't
okay.
understand.
I agree. Everything he said about those other countries, I agree. But that's not America. America was built off ADOS
So,
slavery.
So
That's
are you
that's all.
saying that the same concepts, or it can't be applied to American or to the Black American community? Is that what
Uh,
you're
no,
trying to establish?
no. All I'm saying is that America was built off ADOS. Go to my channel. I just put up President
yeah,
Trump.
we accept. We
That's
believe.
all I'm
We
saying.
assume
That's all I'm
that
saying.
we believe that to be true. But going forward, then what? America was built off
Well,
ADOS. You're not getting reparations. Then what?
no, I wouldn't say we're not getting reparations because you know what? Historians said, you know what? The reason why you don't know American history because you don't live here, you don't have ancestry here, and you don't study it like me. I love studying. Like when I'm not with my girlfriend and my family, I'm studying scholars on YouTube. I'm listening to their scholarly work, and they said in 1860, if you would have told anyone in America that within 5 years 4 million black slaves will be free. He said in 1860, every single white person would have told you you're crazy because we were worth more than anything in America. Like in 1860, there was no industry worth more than black ADOS slaves. And that's shocking number, isn't it? But all historians will tell you, like, that's a fact. In 1860, there was no industry in all of America that was worth more than ADOS. None. Matter of fact, he says you could combine the next 2, 3 biggest industries, and those combined would not equal the worth of ADOS as slaves. And that's not even talking
That's
about
history. We're talking about the present time. That's history.
no, but I'm just saying that we have great worth here. Now I forgot my point I was going to make. What point was I going to make? Oh, okay, that's the point. The point is this: when you say, "Hey, you're never going to get reparations," it's not going to happen. Okay, in 1860, they said the same thing: black slaves are never going to get free. All historians say that everyone in America thought, like, yeah, slavery is going to be around for a while. No one thought that, hey, in 5 years they're going to be free. So I'm just saying that what you say we will never get it, they said the same thing 150 years ago. So it doesn't bother me that you say we're not going to get it or anyone else because he said 150 years ago we got it. So it's just a matter of, and here's the thing. Hang on, before you go, check this out, Charles. This is the interesting thing that's going on. How did we get free in 1860? The whites in the South started fighting with the whites in the North, right? Civil War. What's going on now? Whites are fighting with whites, the Capitol riots, critical race theory. Whites are fighting with whites. So there's a point where they might go at it and break apart, and then we'll get our reparations. Because we only got free because of whites started fighting with whites in 1861. And whites are now fighting with whites again really hard. And I hope it gets worse, right? Because as it gets worse, they're going to pull apart. And that's going to be our line right there to get our reparation. Go ahead.
So my question is, what if you don't get the reparation? Then what?
Oh,
Hypothetically
easy.
speaking, then what?
Okay, that's easy. We will do what we did for civil rights. We will fight. It took us 100 years to get civil rights. So we will just simply continue fighting and shaming America, white America, shaming them until we get it. So we waited 100 years just for civil rights. We'll wait another 100 years to get reparations, but we will get it.
Let me just be ridiculous for a minute and say this: that you owe me reparations, ADOS.
Han, say that again.
You owe me reparations. You owe me reparations because your countrymen came to my continent, took my people to America, enslaved them.
Hey Charles,
Resources.
no, Charles, you sold us. Charles, you sold us to the white man. That's a fact. We even had African kings that came here and apologized for selling us to the white man. So you owe us Black Americans. You owe ADOS reparations because you're.
Let me finish. Let me finish. You owe us reparations because you're an American and you're a beneficiary of the American system, which was built off stealing my people. So you owe me reparations, and I'm
Okay, okay,
coming.
okay.
I need to get my check from you.
Charles, Charles. So you're saying that we didn't? Are you saying that Nigerians and people from Cameroon and West Africa did not sell us to the white man? Are you saying that? I want you to say that.
Yes. It doesn't matter. It
No,
doesn't
no, no,
matter.
no, no, no. I asked you a question.
You
Answer.
took our
Are you
people.
saying you did not sell us?
Men took our people.
Charles,
Took our
Charles, Charles,
resources.
Charles. Are you saying that
You owe me
you blacks,
reparations.
Charles? Are you saying you blacks did not sell us to the white man?
Just a couple of you.
Oh, okay. So you owe us reparations too.
No, we don't owe
Yes, you do.
We
Yes,
don't owe
you
you
do. You sold
reparations.
us.
You owe us reparations.
Yes, you
You're
do. You sold
American,
us.
right? You're American, right?
We are the true
You owe
Americans.
me reparations.
No, you
owe
sold
me
us. You owe us.
reparations.
Come on, Charles.
Reparations. You
Um,
took our. Your
let's
country
not be.
took our brothers.
Hey.
Your
You
country
sold
took
us
our
to the white man.
resources.
Hey, Charles, you sold us to the white man, your ancestors, and that's why your country, Nigeria, is so fucking poor. Because you sold us, brother. You sold the best. And not just you, but Ghana and Cameroon and all you guys. That's why Africa is so fucked up, because you sold all your people, man. So you Africans actually deserve what you're getting. You're getting your reparations. You're getting repaid
Yes,
for
I
what you
want
did
my
to us.
reparations.
No, yeah, you're
You
getting
see,
your
black
reparations.
skin,
You're
black
getting
skin,
repaid for what you did to us, and you
black
still owe us
skin.
reparations for selling us. Charles,
Black
come
skin.
on.
You see, this is just the gripe I have with you. Like all this, especially with the, because you're really the one who brought up the whole African and FBA thing. I never even, that's not even what my gripe was with you. It was just the image, the way you're just, because all this division that you're sowing, right? People like Just Mike, right? I've seen him actually on a few other channels, WS channels, and the way they talk about, especially your group, like they know like there's a lot of self-hate going on. That's the issue that I had
Dude,
initially with you.
I love
Before it
myself.
turned into this whole, oh, you are
I
a
love
coward.
myself.
I don't even know where you're going with that, because this whole thing that you had with Charles and that other British Nigerian lady you had in the UK, that's not even what I had going on with you. But all I'm just trying to just tell you is that you're making everyone look bad in the black race, regardless of ethnicity.
Okay, we're ADOS, and I'm proud to be ADOS. I love to be ADOS.
All
And
right,
Charles,
Ados.
and
Thank you
Charles,
very much.
yeah, and Charles, for you to sit there and say we owe you reparations after you sold us, you're
Yeah,
fucking crazy, bro.
you know what?
No, Charles, and this is why the Chinese has to recolonize you guys, because crazy niggas like y'all running around Nigeria. Oh, the white man owes us from America after you sold us. This is why your country is such a shithole, and this is why the Chinese has recolonized you, because people like you think so stupid, brother. I can't believe you would even suggest that.
You couldn't run very well. That's why we sold you out. No, you couldn't run
Bro,
very well.
you're being recolonized, and there's 150 million Nigerians that live in poverty.
There's
People like you,
okay,
okay. On my channel, I have the article.
It's not even up to 87 million, and even that's still disputable. But
it's at 150 million. So
it's
I got
it doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me.
Of course, because you don't care about Nigeria, Charles. You care about us, ADOS. I love it. We are the center of attention, brother. I love it.
Look, this whole that Black Americans are better than other ethnic groups. In what way are you better? That's the issue. You see,
we have the highest standard. We have the highest standard in the world.
Only problem. That's the only problem that I have with you. That's what I was trying to establish with you before. It turned into a whole circular argument. What makes you people, especially like you, better than let's say Black Brits or people from the Caribbean or Africa? In what way?
Easy. Two things. We have the highest standard of living of all the blacks in the world, right? As a people. Also, the most powerful, richest country to ever exist, America, was built off us. So that okay. Let me know your third thing. We create the world's music: rap, hip hop, gospel, soul, blues. That's the world's music.
What's that got to do economically? How does that benefit other Black people economically speaking?
Okay, benefit other Black people? Like, what do you mean?
Or how does it benefit the Black community in the economical sense?
Okay,
because I keep hearing this. Oh, we created music, we created fashion, we created food. I'm saying, how does that benefit you economically speaking? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, ADOS or the Black community worldwide? Which one?
Okay, let's say the ADOS community. Yeah, let's go with that narrative. Yeah, go on.
Easy. Because there's about 40, 45 million of us. 20
Hmm.
million of us are living middle class to super rich. Like LeBron James worth a billion, Kanye worth 6 billion. I live
Right.
in the upper middle class in the suburbs. I grew up in the upper middle class, brand new
Mhm.
house. My father owned his own
Okay.
construction company.
Right.
So half of
But
us,
in a white
we're
neighborhood,
living
right?
like kings. What's that?
But in a white neighborhood, right? That what the white man built, correct?
No, 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 no. Yeah, off of us. Remember, America's built off us, and then they built on top. So it all comes back to ADOS. So yeah,
You like to pick and choose when it comes to economics. That's something I've noticed about you. And even that was not even my initial problem with you because again, like I said, it was just this whole the way you're projecting. Like you love to say, "Oh, we are the best," and I strongly
Freedom.
disagree with
but
you. I
we
don't
we
see
are
any.
the best. You guys
You are
copy us,
not.
man.
You
You
really are
copy us.
not. You are
No.
Ados,
strongly
Ados.
mistaken.
Okay. All
Copy
the
you in what
music.
way?
Okay.
In what
Easy.
way do we copy you?
Okay,
Go on.
Afro
Just
beats is based off American hip hop and R&B. Black British drill music, hip hop house is based off ADOS. It's all based off ADOS.
Okay.
But
No,
matter
no,
of
no,
fact,
no.
we
no.
hang on,
Listen.
hang on,
Africa.
hang on. We even give Nigeria what? How much? $1 billion a year in donations.
Africa.
So we even give you money, brother. Of course, we're the center, brother.
You owe
But
us
that's not from you,
reparations.
Black Americans. That's the thing. Oh dear.
Ados. The thing is, what you just said now proved my point that America has been incredibly good to you, such that you are you have the highest standards of living of any black people
Right.
anywhere in the world. You should be happy. You should be glad for that. You should be grateful for that. You understand? So instead of
You froze.
preaching you something,
Hey
you have
Charles, you froze.
okay. So I say instead of preaching hopelessness, you have something good. Build on it and make something great for yourselves. That's what I have to say to you.
Okay.
Preach a message of hope to your people. Do not tell them that if they don't get reparations, then they're going to be dejected forever and
Oh,
all
we're gonna
that.
fight. We're gonna fight forever, brother.
Look,
That's ADOS. We're used to fighting the white man. See, you guys love the white man. We fight against the white man.
we love the white man.
Yeah, I see
Says
pictures
the
over there.
one. Did you or did you not admit that your girlfriend is white? That she's a white woman. So by
Yeah,
that logic,
I,
you are in a
Oh,
relationship
you're
with
playing for
the
the other
offspring.
team.
I said the white man. I didn't say the white woman. I said the white man.
Oh, here we go.
And
You see
hey,
exactly. Look, black
hey,
skin is amazing.
Difference.
This is literally the pinnacle. This is the reason why I
he-
actually have an issue with you. Is just because of it. Because this whole double standard with black men with your mentality in America. That's the issue. And for your information, yes, I do live in America. I actually live in Florida. But
yeah,
as I
I
was
remember
saying,
you. I remember you, brother. I remember
yes, and I
you.
remember you very well, of course. But yeah, but this whole it's the white man this, the white man that. But his daughter, his seed, you covet so much. It's like you give them so much sympathy, but when it comes to white men, you love to paint them with this brush, this that the white man's the devil and Becky can do no wrong.
Well,
That's
because
the issue that I have with you, black skin. I don't
okay,
all this xenophobia that you display towards other black ethnicities. I don't. That's not
no,
something
Charles,
I've never had an issue with you.
Charles.
But this
I
whole
love
interaction.
Nigeria. No, I love Nigerians, man. Our Black American Nigerian just beat the crap out of that white dude in UFC. What's his name? Usman, whatever. Usman. Yeah, he's black and
That's the
yeah.
whole fake love that that
Yeah, he
comes to
he
people like
belongs
you.
to us, man. He'd been here since the age of 8 years old. His father was sent to prison in Texas for 10 years. His mother worked 4 jobs to raise him and his brothers in Texas. He's been here 3 times as long in America than Nigeria. So I consider him one of us. He even got started by ADOS. He was wrestling and he was getting all beat up wrestling, and an ADOS guy named Rashad Evans. He was a champion at UFC. He said, "Hey, Usman, you should go to MMA." And you know what Usman did? He stayed at ADOS' house and was trained and upheld by ADOS. And he even thanked ADOS. He said, "Yeah,
Look,
Rashad Evans is ADOS." And he goes, "He was the one that got me into MMA. Without him, I never would have been here." So I consider him one of us. He's Black American. He's great off of us. So I love Nigerians. It's just the ones that say, Nigerians are greater than ADOS. That's simply not true. That's all.
no, I
Nigerians are
don't.
great.
Well,
We
I
kick
don't
ass
agree with
everywhere.
that.
We kick ass
So sorry,
everywhere.
Charles.
Thank you
Go
so
on,
much.
Charles. Go on, Charles. What do you say?
No, I said Nigerians will kick ass everywhere we go. We're always good. We're great.
Okay.
Look,
Hey,
what I
Charles,
just
before
want to say to
no,
black
Charles.
skin.
No, hang on, real quick, Charles. If you guys kick ass everywhere you go, then how come
Yeah.
Nigeria is such a mess and the Chinese has recolonized it?
Okay,
How come
well,
so
let
many
me
poor
ask you
people?
this. Let me ask you this, black skin. If
No,
black Americans are so great,
it's Charles.
why is it
Charles.
that in
Ignorance
predominant
hatred.
black cities or areas in the US that it's economically just enfranchised to go on? Since you want to have that same energy towards Charles, why don't
Hang
you
it, no,
explain black
hang it,
predominant areas?
no.
Why don't you explain places like Mississippi, which I've actually just recently been to, predominant black areas, and even their standard of living in some places it's even worse than even some of the ghettos that I've actually seen in Nigeria when I went there for holiday last year.
Okay. No,
Explain.
well, I'm asking Charles. No, he got to answer the question. If Nigerians are so great and prosper wherever they go, how come they can't do it in their own country? How come they're the poverty capital of the world? Just answer that, Charles. Be honest.
See, the thing is, we have our own issues, and we're going to deal with them, and we're dealing with them. Yes, at this point in time, at this point in history, well, but when we find ourselves in a society that is structured, we take advantage of it, which you seem to lose sight of because you're privileged, so you don't see those opportunities. So
you
everywhere
said
we go,
no.
we kick ass. We kick ass.
No, how come you don't kick ass in your own country? That don't make any sense. No, Nigerians are so smart, we kick ass, but their country is the poverty capital of the world. That doesn't make sense. That makes no fucking sense. You kick ass everywhere but your own country, where there's over 200 million of you. Get the fuck out of here, Charles, man. That's some funny shit, bro.
Well, you can say whatever you want to say.
No, it's a fact. It's a poverty capital of the world, Nigeria. How can you say you kick ass everywhere you go and you're the poverty capital of the world in your own fucking country? That doesn't make any
sense. In America,
brother.
I think in Joe Biden's cabinet,
no sense.
In Joe Biden's cabinet, there are a lot of Nigerians there now. He's a pick for certain positions. He's even sidelining you guys, you black Americans. He's picking Nigerians because he knows the worth, he knows our quality. We're top-notch black people. Original black. We're the real amazing black people.
And you guys are the poverty capital of the world. But you said everywhere you go, you dominate, but you can't dominate your own country. That makes no fucking sense.
Black skin.
I see why the Chinese has recolonized you guys. You guys don't think right.
But they're also colonizing China as well.
You don't think, man. You talk stupid,
they're colonizing the US.
You say you conquer everywhere you go, and you're conquered by the Chinese in your own fucking country. Do you make no fucking sense, Charles?
Black skin, you need to first of all come
back.
They're doing the same thing to the US. They're doing the same thing to the US, and you can look this up as well. But carry on with your whole rhetoric that you have going on.
So, ADOS, we veered so much from the initial conversation, and we started talking about which is reparations. You have passion for reparations, and I don't know how I was sucked into that discussion when we were supposed to be talking about Glenn Loury.
Hey Charles, you know I love you. Hey Charles, you know I love you, brother. I'm just passing, but you know I love you and I respect you. You're my brother. And if you came to America, Charles, if you come to America, you come visit me. We're gonna go eat, talk, eat some American food. You can show me your Nigerian food. We'll have a great time. I respect you, brother. I really do. I'm just very passionate in these conversations. But when it's all said and done, we're two black men, right? So I'm gonna honor you, and I expect you to honor me. And if you come here, I will show you around the city and show you a good time. And I'm sure if I came to Nigeria, you would say, "Hey, black son, let me show you a good time, Nigerian style." I would expect that. I expect that we can talk very real to each other because we're two black men. And then when it's all over, shake hands and go eat, have some fun in Nigeria or America.
That's now, as a follow-up to that point, which is very good. What you just said is very good. And I want African Americans to adopt this, that in the black community, there are a variety of opinions. People like Glenn have their own opinions, and they should not be castigated for their opinions. They should be accommodated. Understand?
Yeah.
Just as you're willing to accommodate me, you should be willing to accommodate Glenn or Larry Elder or Walter Williams or all the other guys that they call conservative, the other black conservative guys. You should be able to embrace them as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Even though they have opinions that differ from yours.
I agree with you. I welcome the diversity. Other people don't, but I agree. They should be welcome. I welcome them. I watch their videos. So, yeah, I agree with you, Charles.
That's good.
So
That's good.
okay,
So
so
Vincent,
let's end on this note then. Since we're on a good note, we're not arguing.
okay,
Let's end here.
okay,
So I want to say once again, as my closing statement to you, Charles, I respect you. I honor you. As I said on my channel, I get a little passionate. I apologize. Don't take that serious. That's just Adolf's passion for my country, right? But I
what's wrong
respect
with
you. But Charles, I respect you. You're a black man. I'm a black man. We're brothers in that sense, right? Or cousins,
Yeah.
right? So I'm never gonna disrespect you on a scale like that because we're two black men. So, and I respect Nigerians, and Nigerians respect us, and I honor them. I like Afro beats. I don't listen to it too much, but I like it. You guys are like our little brothers, you know. So I'm
No,
just
no, no,
saying.
no.
So Vincent, I'm just
You're a
saying
little
that.
brother.
No, but hang on. I respect you, brother, and I honor you. And if you ever
You are
come to
reaching.
America, I'm going to
You're
take you out, brother, and I'm going to show you a good time, American style, right? And you can hang out with me and my white girlfriend with green eyes and blonde hair, and we'll have a good time, man. And so, Vincent, it's been real. Charles, it's been real. Hey, let's do it. Hey, hang on, Charles, email me. Give me a comment, and we can do another talk on my channel next time about a subject that you'll find interesting. Because I respect you and I honor you, and we're two black men. So I honor you, brother, and you stand strong, Charles. I got respect.
Black skin. I don't have any problems or gripes with you, but again, you know, you do that. You know, the xenophobia. You do display that quite a lot, and that's something that you do need to be called out for. And I'm calling you out for
No,
that.
I just said
you
I
know,
love Charles. I just said I loved him in honor. How
you
could
know,
I have
and
been xenophobic when I just said I love Charles?
and
We're
also
both
some
black
black.
men.
I'm sorry, go on.
No, we're both black men. I just said I love Charles, honor and respect him. If he ever comes to America, I'm going to show him a good time with me and my white girlfriend. So how could I be xenophobia when I just said I loved him and we're brothers? You know, you guys are like our little brothers. You know.
Well, then explain your last video about Nigeria. Then that's you know, because you went up. Yeah, you know, there's your videos about Nigeria.
Which one? Which video?
Oh, you know, let's your latest one that you just heard about Nigeria.
Well, which one? The one it says
the one where you said Nigerians falling.
Right.
No,
I watch your I do watch your videos from the clouds. That's every now and then. I do watch your videos from the clouds when, you know, I do want to have a laugh. You know, I'm not gonna lie, even I'm even kind of amused, you know, by some of your content. But I find that just quite insulting. And again, I've been on some other channels, non-black channels, and they use you as reference. And, you know, again, they don't really care whether Black American, whether you're African or Black Brit or whatever. They view us as to say, and I'm trying to tell you that it's not a good look. It doesn't matter, you know, our nationality, our ethnicity, you know, where we come from. I'm just trying to let you know that it's just not a good look. That's just the only problem that I have with you. So everything else, you know, that you know, saying, oh, Black Americans are this or that, I don't even engage in those topics. So when you called me a coward, it's because I don't usually get into all this, you know, heated. That's not something we do in the UK. We have a civil dialogue, and it's something that I didn't really experience. You know, your channel, and even from some of your members, some of the things that were said towards me, I just thought it was just best I just leave the platform.
Okay, then Vincent, why would you come in saying, don't listen to this guy, he's full of shit? If you believe in that much respect and honor, how come you didn't come in saying, hey, how you guys doing? Let's talk. But you came in like, hey, don't listen to this guy, Charles. You know, he's an asshole. And you put it in your chat too. So if you're so honorable, why did you do that?
Fine. I agree, fine. I apologize for that. I guess we can.
Because I didn't know who you were.
You two also need to apologize as well, because you've not done, you know, yours has also been worse.
Hey, I've already apologized. I respect and honor Charles and you. You guys are my brothers. I said that to you after our last debate. I'm just passionate about ADOS. But you guys are black men. We're all black. We're black. We're family. You guys are like our little brothers. Like I said, if I went to Nigeria, I would expect Charles to show me a good time. Like, hey, we're black men. I come from you. We come from Nigerians and Cameroons and Ghanaians and the West Africa. We literally, the base of ADOS gene pool is Nigeria, you know, Ghana, West Africa. So we come from you. So how can I hate you? So how can I hate you or be xenophobic when I literally come from you, Charles? Okay, your people come from my people. So I can't be xenophobic.
Okay, you know, well, I mean, we can agree to, because it may not be xenophobic, but it's just, you know, it's just the rhetoric of your videos, just, you know, the way it's portrayed.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just rhetoric.
Black, it's kind of, it almost seems like it's self-hate. You know, and I actually stumbled on your channel by accident, and, you know, I was just you know, I was watching a lot of your old content. That's how, before I started making my comments, and when I was critiquing points that you made in your videos, yeah, that's just my whole discourse I had with you. But another thing is, just I don't know your particular gripe that you have with Black Brits. What's your issue with Black Brits in particular? Now, this is
I
nothing to do with Africans, but Black
no,
Brits.
I love Black Brits. Yeah, I just that Black Nigerian woman Ada, sticking her nose into our business, being a tool for white supremacy. The only thing I didn't like about her was being a tool for white supremacy. But if you watch the video I did with her, I said in the beginning, I said, you're very beautiful. I respect you and honor you. But what you're doing as far as trying to put down ADOS for the white man, cookies,
Oh.
That I don't like. But her as a Black woman, Ada, she's beautiful. I told her that. You're beautiful. You're smart. You're intelligent. I said that. Then we got into a real hard debate because, she's like, I have every right to speak on ADOS. Like, no, you don't. You don't even know what you're talking about half the time. So that's what the argument was about, her talking about ADOS. It wasn't about her personally, because I said from the beginning, hey, she's smart. She's beautiful. She's intelligent. I'm never going to put down a Black woman because my mother's Black. Well, she's biracial, but she's still Black. My grandmother's jet Black. So I'm not going to put down a Black woman because I come from Black women. But I will correct them on their opinions. Like me and Charles, it's about opinion. I don't like what he's doing as far as, putting down, Black Americans aren't trying enough. So I'm debating him on his opinion, not his humanity as a Black man, because I'm a Black man too. So if I was to tear down Charles as a Black man, I would be tearing down myself. And if I tear down that Black woman, Ada from British Nigeria, I would be tearing down the Black women in my family, my aunts and stuff. And no, I'm not going to do that. Some Black men do that. And I tell them, stop tearing down Black women because you're tearing down your own mother and sister. Tear down their ideals. Like Cynthia G. I tear down her ideals, not the Black woman. So that's why. That's why I respect Charles. Yeah, that's why I respect Charles. I respect him as a man. We're both Black men. I'm not going to say, you Black bastard, you ape. Then if I said that, I'd be saying that about myself. So then I would be stupid. So I'm tearing down his. Yeah.
Well, that's good because I've never really seen this side of you before, Black skin. So that is good to hear. So at least I've now seen you in a different light, because I did have quite a negative view of you, and that's the reason why I stopped altogether coming on your channel and being a regular commenter. But no, it's good that at least you do have that, because I was thinking otherwise, that you were one of those extreme xenophobes.
No, you would never hear me tear down a Black person, because I would be tearing down myself. I don't care if you're from Nigeria, I'm British Nigerian, Ghana, Jamaican. I would never tear down a Black person for being Black, because I would tear down myself. And that would be incredibly stupid. But like you said, there's a lot of Black male YouTubers, ADOS, that do that. They call Black women monkeys and bullet. Right. They call them some disgusting names. And I go in their chat and tell them, like, stop it, dude. Tear down their ideals. Don't tear down the Black woman, because that's your mom you're talking about. But there's a lot of ADOS guys that don't love their mom. So they say, fuck my mom. My mom was shitty to me. So then, there's not much I can say. I had a great mother, a great experience. They didn't. So when I say, well, your mom's Black, and they're like, fuck my mom, she treated me like shit. And then I say, okay, well, so that's what's going on with those type of guys. When you say ADOS, hating Black women, it comes from their bad relationships they had with their mom. But I had a great relationship. I was my mother and father's favorite. So I love it. But like I said, I respect you both, man. We're all Black, bro. That's why I said the UFC champion, Usman, he's ours. I embrace him. Matter of fact, I told my friend that. I said when he beat that white guy, and when the other one, Francis Najumo from Cameroon, what's his name? The heavyweight champion from Cameroon. Charles, have you seen him? He fought 2 weeks ago.
Nah.
Yeah, he won in UFC. He knocked out a white dude. And I said to my friend, I go, hey, when our Nigerian counterparts, win the championships in America, we should all, as Black people in that city, come out. And when the Black Nigerian and the Cameroon champion comes out, we should embrace them as our own, because we come from them, So I said, these African champions like Usman and the Cameroon champion shouldn't have to go back to Africa to be celebrated. When they walk out the auditorium, we Black ADOS should be right there holding them up and lifting them up as champions, because we come from them. We come from the same gene pool. So we should
Right.
be embracing them as our own, like literally, like, dude, these are our brothers and cousins. We should when a Nigerian UFC champion walks out, he should walk out to 10,000 Black Americans. I mean, what would that say to the world, right? If a Nigerian American walked out of an auditorium just winning a championship and seeing 10,000 ADOS members celebrate him, that would change the world, right? Like
Right.
Nigeria would go, oh my God, this is unexpected. All of Africa, China, white America would say, wow, these blacks are starting to stick together. Because you know what? The world doesn't want blacks to stick together because they're scared of that. Because
I can agree. Yep, I agree.
they're like, whoa, so yeah, they're very scared of all blacks in the world coming together. And they'll do everything they can to keep blacks separated in their own sections of the world.
Right. Right.
And
Well, I agree.
yeah. And they love Africa being 54 nations. They love it. They love Africa being 54. How many sub-Saharan African nations there are? Like 40. Yeah, they love it because they know, like, hey, as long as Africa stays divided, they'll never come together as one. But if those 54 countries decided to be like China and said, hey, sub-Saharan African, let's be like China. Let's be one. Let's get one language we're going to agree upon, one money source, and put our economy together as one. So instead of being Nigerian and Ghana, we're gonna just be Africa. Dude, now we can compete. Charles, that's the only way blacks can compete worldwide. If Africa came together as a continent and under one language, under one currency, under one economic system, then the world would be shitting. The Asians and the white man would be like, oh my God. These blacks are going to take over. Then okay, Charles, that's the only way blacks could compete. If Africa came together as one, because if Africa came together as one, guess what ADOS would do? ADOS would jump right in the pool. The reason why ADOS don't fuck with Africa, because you guys are so divided. So they're like, no, you guys are more divided than us.
We're going to have that conversation another time.
Right. I would love to.
Thank you very much for your presence. I honor you too. I appreciate your presence, your opinions. I value your opinions. I value you as a person. Same with you, Vincent. I like that you came into this conversation, and I also like the fact that we're able to, and if not achieve anything, we're able to see the humanity in each other, and I think we are going back with a better opinion of ourselves than we came with. So I really appreciate that. So before we leave, I'd like Vincent to just say a few words, then Eidos can say, then we'll wrap up for today. So Vincent.
Oh no! I just want to say thank you, Charles, for letting me be on here, and also you two Black Skin. At least we're now able to see eye to eye on the importance of Black unity, regardless of nationality. But no, I think this conversation it was good. It was much needed. But that's all I have to say. But yeah, thank you.
Okay, and I'll finish it by saying that I never thought about that actually until just now. That if Africa became one nation like China, then ADOS would jump in, and then you know what the Jamaicans would do? Jump in, and the Haitians would jump in, and the Afro Latinos, you know what they would do? They would say, oh wow, Africa's really got it going on. We're jumping in too. So you would have Africa as one nation, right? Then ADOS would jump in, and then Jamaica, Haiti, then Afro Latinos would jump in, like, hey, we're all African too. We all come from you guys. Imagine all of that, all the sub-Saharan Africans nations together as one, and then throwing ADOS, and then all the Caribbean, and then all Latin American, Afro Latin Americans together. That would be the only way the Chinese and the white man would say, whoa, we need to come together against them. So, but as of right now, the Chinese and the whites in America and Europe and Russia, they love Africa being divided. They love ADOS being separate from Africa and the Caribbean. They love when somebody says, oh, I'm not American, I'm not ADOS, I'm Jamaican, I'm Nigerian. They love it because they know, hey, as long as these blacks stay divided, they'll never be able to conquer the white man or compete with the white man and the Chinese on a national level, on a world level. They know that. So
I just just one question. Just one question, if Charles will allow me, right? So I'm pretty sure me, Charles, and you we agreed to what you said, right? So why don't you ever bring this up in your video then? Because that was one of the things that I was wondering. Why don't you ever bring? Because it always seems to be quite negative, the videos that you make. So you know this. Why not also make positive videos like that with messages? Yeah.
Because the chances of Africa coming together as one is it's a higher odds than us getting reparations. And I'll leave it at that. Hey,
Well,
hey, Charles, Vincent, you guys are my brothers, man. But when we get on ADOS subjects, I'm always going to be passionate, man. I'm going to be, that's just me, right? But when before we start and at the end, I always said the same thing as I said to 8 other Black British women. I respect you. I honor you. We are family, whether we like it or not. What was done in the past was done. We're still family. And with that, I'm signing off. Love you, Charles. Love you, Vincent. And
All right.
Charles, hit me up with a comment and let me know what our next subject will be, and it'll be on my channel. Okay.
No problem.
well,
All right,
let me
peace,
know.
guys.
I hope.
Yeah, sure. No problem.
Vincent,
Yeah.
you want to say
Yeah.
something?
No, Charles. I was gonna say, yeah, the next video that you had. Well, where would is it gonna be on his channel or is it your channel? I didn't catch.
We're going to be alternating. So the next one will be on his channel, then the other one will be on mine. So I'd like you to join us. I enjoyed your contributions as well. So
Sure.
if you don't
Yeah, I
mind,
did have a. Yeah. Yeah, I apologize. I don't know if my speaker, because I keep hearing this sound echo. I don't know if it's me, but yeah, yeah. I had a friend that wanted to join. He's also watched you as well before, but yeah. I'll see maybe next time if you can join in as well. But
okay.
yeah.
No,
All right, thank you. Yeah, and I've
problem.
given you my email, haven't I?
No, you
Have you
haven't.
did my-
You haven't.
Oh, I didn't. No. You remember in that email, well, that discussion that we had in that
Okay,
video.
okay. Have you
Yeah,
dropped it there?
I
Have you dropped
responded to you. So if you want to
Okay, I'll
check,
check.
yeah. Yeah, then
I'll
yeah,
check.
just send me an
So thank
email
you
and
very
just
much.
yep, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
All right, cheers.
Have a great
Cheers.
day.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep, bye.
Bye. So that was the conversation. Although it was supposed to be about Glenn Loury and whether or not he's a tool for white supremacy, but somehow it got taken to reparations because ADOS is so passionate about reparations. Well, personally, I don't think reparations is a bad thing, but I don't think also that it's going to happen the way ADOS wants it to happen. I don't think they're going to give you reparations for 150 years. But even if they're going to give you reparations, then what? It's not going to solve anything. Giving monies to communities, to people, just money to people without putting policy. I think structure and policy is what really helps a community to develop. And what will make African Americans rise above their current station is developmentally foundational, as in at the foundational level. At when they're growing up, they need a lot of resources in terms of education, in terms of their mental development and capacity. Those are the things that they should be championing for, not to get cash back for 150 years, which in my estimation is never going to happen. And if it does happen, well, good and fine, but I don't think so. So that's the conversation for today. We're going to be holding this conversation every other week. Until next time, take care, guys.